This week in Hey the Parents, we are talking about a holiday that's all about love. Heart-shaped pizza, you say? Heart-shaped steak? How about a nice orange cream chocolate? So put on those comfy clothes and grab that box of hearts and embarrass your kids by saying the words A1Riz, because on this episode, we're talking all about Valentine's Day. And of course, we talk about when we were younger, mishaps with our own kids, and what the supposed experts say. Because it's the three of us and all of you. I'm Michael Height.
I'm Sara D.
And I'm Mike Levine.
Kids don't come with a handbook, so we need your help.
Where do babies come from?
Where do you think they come from?
Is this a kissing book?
Mama! Mama!
What?
Hi.
I learned it by watching you.
There are no rules in this house. I'm not like a regular mom. I'm a cool mom.
We sent them to the best boarding schools. We hired the best nannies. We did everything right.
Hey, Mom! The meatloaf!
No drinking, no drugs, no kissing, no tattoos, no piercings, no ritual animal slaughters of any kind.
Together, we can rule the galaxy as father and son.
This is Hey Other Parents, an honest, messy, imperfect show for raising kids.
Welcome back, everyone. It's us
Hey,
again.
hey, everybody. It is a special week here. Good to see you guys.
It sure is. I mean, you know, Cupid's coming down with his little arrow, and he's ready to talk to us about Valentine's Day.
Oh, yeah. Bringing the love this episode.
What's going on right now is Valentine's Day, because I happen to really like this holiday. I can't find my little wreath. I actually think when I was Maria Kondoing, I think I threw away the wreath.
Uh-oh. What are the choices here now?
I cannot find this darn wreath anywhere. And I think because it was clunky and it was taking up a space, I looked in the garage. We cleaned up the garage, not because of the wreath, but I was looking for the wreath. And in the attic, it's not there. I think I Maria Kondo it away. So some hashtag regrets. And then I went to Dollar Tree because I was like, I'm going to DIY my own
that's the best. That's
wreath,
the best.
right?
Yeah.
And then there was what I was envisioning in my head and what Dollar Tree was going to have and what TikTok and Instagram told me. There was none of that there. So it was just such a letdown. I was slightly sad. I do not have a Valentine's Day wreath on my door, and I'm just falling behind.
But you know what?
Sadness.
I think that's okay. I think that's okay because I think a lot of people kind of struggle with, hey, do I put up decorations for this holiday or do I not? You know, I think that brings up a great question. Because
right? I don't go all out, but a wreath, that's all.
I feel like
how far do you go for this holiday? Do you go full out balloons and things on the grass, wreaths and
things
lights?
on the grass. This is getting intense, man.
Grass, oh my.
I have noticed that. I've been driving past people's houses and I see these Christmas or holiday balloon, they're not balloons, inflatables, right? But for Valentine's Day, they got I saw this one. It was like a big heart shape with two teddy bears, and it was taking up the people's walkway. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't think I would go that hard for Valentine's Day. You know what I mean?
I don't think so, but I feel slightly compelled to now because we'll get into it later. But the wreath is always a tradition, and I'm kind of sad that I Maria Kondoed away.
I feel like you and my wife are hand in hand with it's almost like you watch those movies where people keep missing each other, but yet they keep going down the same paths. I feel like my wife is just recently making the wreath situation. You got the I don't even know the word. I'm gonna botch this whole thing up. Basically, the gist is she gets this circular cardboard looking thing from Michael's or whatever. It looks like a washer, but a really big one. A donut shape, you might even say. And then she wraps ribbon around
a wreath
it.
Shape?
Yeah, I guess that would make sense. The circle. And then she wraps ribbon around it, and then that's kind of the basis of it. And then she attaches stuff to it.
And then it do stuff things, yeah.
I feel like you and my wife have to get together and do a little wreath making activity.
So she's doing the Michaels, the middle level no, probably lobby's probably middle. And then it's Michael's.
Sarah called you mid.
No, I'm calling her expensivo. Because I was trying to Dollar Tree this. I was trying to $1.25 this. That's what I was
that's pretty
trying to
respectful.
Yeah,
and then
right. It's up 25 cents now.
I went in there
really?
and I was disappointed. There was not enough ribbons. I know, $1.25 tree. And there was enough ribbons and there wasn't the things that I was thinking in my head, and sadness, let me tell you. So that was my week thus far. So I just might go to Michael's to either buy one or spend the money to make one. Sorry, Jean.
I think it'd be fun to watch you like just pull together whatever's in the house and just like wing it and be like, what resembles a circle? What can we attach to this? Like, give me that old lollipop. Give me the.
I'm slightly tempted to actually challenge that. I might do that. I'm just and I'll take a picture and show everyone what I do.
Oh, I love that. I kind of almost
like
try to do it myself.
There you go.
Okay, I got a wreath. I was thinking, toying with the idea of like jazzing it up. So I might take you up on that.
Be cutting out the circles out of a Target bag.
Well,
I always wanted to kind of try to make something and decorate like that, but I don't know. I always just go to the Dollar Tree and get it already made. You know?
Right, exactly. But so back in the day, my mom used to always make for every holiday. She like made stuff, baked stuff, and things like that. But I don't know about you guys. Do you want to heat up the old little time machine and go back in time?
Fire it up.
Fire it up. Return back the time. And we're going to talk about what we used to do with our family for Valentine's Day.
Well, let me tell you, I feel like if you were a child of the 80s and 90s, and I know that now you go to the obviously people listening, the deal, but when now you go to the bakeries and everything's so French pastry, nice and put together and looks like a very beautiful presentation. But back in the 80s and 90s, my friends, you would go to the bakeries with your parents and you would pick out a monstrosity of a cupcake that was look like Cookie Monster or one of those that would all kind of have not a whole lot of flavor. But I remember that was a big thing we would do. Obviously the big thing was my parents would get us the candy hearts. And miraculously, my sister and I would try to eat an entire box in one night,
Yeah, I always got the candy hearts, but I don't know. I was that type of kid that can never eat them. I don't know.
Really?
They kind of, every time it popped in my mouth, I'm like, these are not good. And then when I got them from, in school, from, those, Valentine's Day gifts that...
Your classmates and stuff,
yeah. That your classmates would hand out, I'd be like, I don't need this.
Aww.
But I did like the messages, and let me tell you, anytime I got it from a girl or something, I'd be like, "Ooh, does she like me?"
and then she's like, "Oh, who are you again? Can you just pass this down to the next person next to you because everybody gets
one." Mom just told me to pass it to everyone.
Exactly. But I remember my parents. It was so funny. I remember I don't even know where this thing started, but my parents would make. My mom would make dessert for my dad. This was a thing, and I don't really even know if this was consistent to this holiday, but she seemed like maker for that. And she got this recipe called a peach cushion. Have you guys ever heard of this? A peach cushion?
No.
Right, because I love you, Mom, but supposedly there's this recipe that was from the first continental train that went across the country that served food, and apparently it's this canned peaches and custard essentially, and it was a cream pie, but with definitely with canned peaches and I guess a graham cracker crust. I'm sure this is some variation of whatever whatever. But my mom would make this for my dad, and my sister and I was all right, I guess that's what we're having, But it was we were always okay, go back to the bakery, get a big whipped cream cake, whatever else. But it was this peach cushion thing, and my sister and I did you ever see this thing anywhere else in the entire world? And we laughed about it because we were I don't really think we've ever come across this in the history of any desserts. But it's it's kind of like a little tradition that my parents did with each other. But my dad would buy my mom daisies.
Nice, man.
And then my mom would make this peach cushion
That's
thing.
really cool.
When I looked up the recipe, there was a video playing. Was that messing it up?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that probably messed
but you're saying you
you
found the peach
cushion?
cushion?
An ad. There was an ad that was playing in the bottom.
Oh, I typed in peach cushion. I got a pillow on a couch.
Me too. That's what I got. Okay.
All
right.
Peach cushion recipe.
Okay. Now that I got what it means. Okay. Do you want to start over?
You got to look for one that blatantly has peach. It's I'm getting German recipes. K-U-C-H. Yeah,
yes. That's exactly what it is.
I have to look for this. That's so funny.
That was what I was going to bring up.
Right?
Okay.
Oh, man.
So, you want to bring it up again?
I guess this is a choppy ass recipe. This episode, I'm so sorry. I keep driving. We're driving the train off the tracks. Yeah. Sorry. So she would make this recipe, and then anyway, it would be the thing for for Valentine's Day, and then there would always be little chocolates. My dad would bring those bad boys home, and inevitably there was the heart. right? And we know the heart. This is always the heart. But the thing that if you guys, obviously you both had siblings, I'm not sure if your siblings did this, but my sister, who has, grew her nails, actually doesn't really matter who's any nails if you're long or short, but she would do this thing. Like, she was not going to listen to the Forrest Gump approach to advice. Life was not a box of chocolates. She was going to find out what everyone was going to be. She'd basically flip open the box, and even if there wasn't a code, she didn't need one. She would jam her thumbnail into the bottom of the chocolates and look inside like a little peeksy, and she would know, like, no, not that one. That's not hazelnut cream. Wow. And then she would she would inspect. So there's nothing quite like opening up a box of chocolates and looking for all the thumbprints or the nail prints on the inside.
Yes. I am with Melissa. We used to do that too as well.
Pretty smart.
Because no one wants that orange cream. No one wants, I didn't ever like the strawberry cream one either.
I don't think anyone's supposed to like the orange cream.
Yeah,
I think it's there just to make things taste better, maybe.
I wonder if there's like a statistic over like how many people eat those candies and like which one's the least favorite. I bet if we look it up, watch orange cream be like at the top of like everybody's favorite.
Right. And we're just like the odd people out. The 3%.
I don't know. I can't see
There's
it.
no way. Like, if you type in orange cream, Google probably automatically fills in are the absolute worst or something.
That, and then there was there's a light brown one that's in there too, like a butternut or some. There's something in there that's kind of gross too. That's not like quite
like just too.
It's like light brown.
Yeah.
I don't know. But my mom back in the day, she would so Valentine's Day for me was always seeing my mom getting something. My dad always brought home like big roses, the hugest box of chocolate, it seemed like to us.
Aww.
And then he always made sure like my brother and I got like a little box of like chocolate and stuff like that.
But
my mom's was the best. Yeah, no, we got the small one, which is appropriate. But she got the huge, ginormous one. Yes, he would. And then we would definitely pinch each one because we wanted to see which one was like the best. And we knew that my mom always liked the coconut one, like with the coconut flakes in it. And the caramel were her favorites. And the ones with like any kind of like nut or almonds were hers. After that, it was like a free for all. My brother, he used to love sweets, so he ate anything. Anything that was there, he ate it. And then me, I only liked the vanilla cream, a caramel, if I could sneak it in there. And if I could really sneak it in there, was a coconut every once in a while. So you steal those from her.
You try to convince your mom that she already ate two and she only had one.
Yes. I'm like nope, it was never there.
It's like a fake almond joy, but it's good.
No, but it's a good time in there, I have to say.
Did you guys did your parents ever get those, would they be like a liqueur? Like they had there were some chocolates that had like a little bit of alcohol. The cherry, yes. Yeah. You remember those? So I remember like my parents would keep them like in this refrigerator in the basement.
Yes.
Like, I don't know. Like, listen, if you're a parent and and your child knows that you have a snack and you put it in a harder to get location, you're only drawing them in more.
Yes, because they know it's something good. Those cherry ones, when we got our hands on those things,
pop them in your mouth.
We had a good time.
They
taste so good. And there's like no
like, how would you know? Really, like guys, you read it, you're like, oh my
flavor.
God, I'm gonna die. You don't know.
Yeah, no, but they were so good. Those with the little cherries in there and the like liquid.
I wonder now if we have them, if we'd be like, does it taste like?
You ever had those, Mike Levine?
I stay away from cherries.
Wow.
Oh, you don't like cherries?
I like cherries, but I have bad experiences with cherries and. My parents were cherries.
This episode suddenly is going to be called "I Love Cherries, but Cherries Don't Love Me." I don't. Well, we're not going to dig deeper into that one, but this is good.
But Valentine's Day for me always felt romantic. Like I just felt like my mom always got these big flowers, and I always And then as I got older, my dad used to always give me a little flower, one little rose.
That's sweet, though.
And I was like, a nice thing to I used to love it. It really was. It was so sweet. I loved it. Even when my brother was a teenager, he always got my brother a heart, just because. And my brother always ate them. But as I got older, I got a little flower, one little rose, and one little heart or whatever. And I don't know. I always loved Valentine's Day. It was just like a fun holiday. So since I known Jean since junior year in high school, one time, I think it was our first Valentine's Day together. So that morning I was so excited. I'm like, I got my boyfriend. I'm gonna go to school. I'm gonna like get like all the things. I couldn't wait. And then who decided to get a stomach virus Valentine's Day morning? Me. I did. I was waiting for the bus. I was already dressed. I was ready for the bus. And then my stomach was like, no, girl. It ain't happening. And I was like,
wait,
wow,
how long?
what's going
you
on?
just started dating, or how long were you guys together at this point?
Okay, so we started dating December, January, February. 2 months.
Oh my gosh, this was
Fresh.
like a very feeling
New.
of like make it or break it moment. Like you're probably stressing out.
Yeah, it was like, yes, it was like, what did he get me? What is he going to tell me?
Alert,
You know, because again,
they're still together.
Right. They're still together. So all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, I feel very sick. I went to the bathroom. I was sick. And I was like, nope, okay, that was like a one-time thing, made me really nervous. And then I was sick some more. And I said, nope, I'm not going to school. I told my mom, she's like, you're staying home. And I was like so upset. And then back in the day, we didn't have cell phones, we had pay phones. So my house line was ringing with all my girlfriends calling and saying, oh my God, Gene got you all these beautiful flowers. He got you a teddy bear. He got you a balloon. It's sitting in homeroom and you're not there.
No.
He was like surprising me with it. I was so upset for my first real Valentine's to not have even be there. And I hate my stomach for that for the rest of my life. It really was like the worst. But then he was so sweet. He came over later on in the day and he dropped it all off, which was really cute. And Valentine's Day, like, and especially growing up Carmen, like I wasn't expecting that much from a Valentine's Day, and like all of a sudden I got like all this stuff, and I was like so excited, and I just my body betrayed me that day.
That is so
for whatever
unfair
reason.
on so many levels.
Well,
it was so I hate it.
On the plus side of things, at least you had a Valentine's. When I was younger, Valentine's was difficult for me. You know, so I went out with my buddies. We had, you know, bro Valentines, and we went to movies and stuff, you know.
Oh, I love
I have a
it.
big problem with that.
Yeah.
It's because the name is terrible.
Yeah.
I respect all of it. I just think you need a better name.
Bro-tines.
Oh, like
Bro-and-tines?
Yeah. Bro-batines?
All right, it's getting better. It's getting better.
Bro-tines?
I don't know.
Bro-tines.
But it was... No,
gotta think of a
even
new
like
name for that.
Valentine's Day in my family wasn't really that big. You know, my mom did the same thing, just traditional like cards, candy, and you know, a big pat on the back and I love you, kid. You know?
There's always next year.
But you know what? But honestly, raising a house full of boys,
Yeah,
like that's
yeah.
kind of. No offense. Maybe growing up Carmen, I'm slightly biased. Valentine's Day is a day for like the babies and like the wives.
Yeah.
You know, like you give the husband like a hearty handshake, like I love you, dude. You're the best. But like, where's my where's my right, like a
flowers?
fist bump?
If you're lucky, you get a little pat in the back.
Where's my flower?
You're like, here, let me escort you to the door to where you could go buy something.
I want a little chocolate. I don't know. I just feel like it's just a day of like love.
You know what I love about it?
you
It's
know?
like, you know, like most people, I feel like there's always like a horror story for Valentine's because like how good could they all be growing up? There's always like, you know, you like this person, you don't like this person, you know, things fall apart, you know, they don't appreciate your hearts. Mike Levine goes to the movies, but whatever it is, it's I feel like when you finally meet your spouse and then you guys have a relationship, it's nice to kind of turn it around and make it nice for them, you know, and then you can kind of start new traditions, you know, not just have sad, lingering, awkward moments in middle school, you know.
Which brings me to the point of like where I remember Mike Height that back in the day when we first met each other, you were just like I think you just married Rachel at that point when I met
probably
you.
had so much energy.
And-
I was so awake.
You were like so live and you were like full of vigor and vim. But I remember Valentine's Day, you used to like do like some like really nice stuff for her. You know,
oh yeah,
like
this guy's
so
like
we're,
a hopeless
I forget now.
romantic. This guy.
He really is. As much as he's like, oh, Valentine's Day.
that
Like
was
he used to
stupid,
do
everybody.
some
No
nice
kidding.
stuff. Yeah, undercover romantic.
keep it-
He's like undercover boss for romance.
No, it's funny because oh my god, can you
Yes,
imagine?
love
that?
it.
That would be like a spoof, like an SNL. So Kylo Ren would definitely be on it.
There you go.
So my wife is definitely like one of those people where like for the longest time, I think she was like kind of like, oh, Valentine's Day is just a Hallmark holiday, yada yada yada. I never knew I would use yada yada so much in a podcast. It's amazing. So so I was like, I went online, I'd find these little projects and things, and I would go on like Etsy, and I'd be like, I don't want to pay for that. I'm gonna make that myself. So one thing that we did, and this was kind of like one of the favorite things I think that I made, which is a good idea for you people at home. This was the teaser from last episode. So now I'm following through on the end of the teaser. So I ended up finding this poster that someone had made on Etsy, and what it was all of the important dates of like your relationship. So obviously, if you were to make this and give this to a person early on, you'd have a very limited list of dates, right? So when you hear what it is, you'll now understand why I had to make this 4 times. But the idea is when I gave it to her, what you could put is like when we first went on our first date, getting down on one knee, getting married. So keeping track of all these dates. So like there was like, keys to the home, the day that our children were born. And then and then at the bottom it says like our love story, and then those are all dates. Very cool. So I made this up for her, and I was thinking about the dates, and it was so funny because I like obviously didn't remember all of the dates specifically, so I had to go into I went to old emails and like looking in like, oh man, it was like a deep dive. I'm like, do I still have my Hotmail account? So we were like going in and finding all the dates, and it was really funny.
Geez, yeah.
That's actually that part of the process of making this poster for anyone I suggest is actually a lot of fun. Because inevitably, when you start going through your old emails and you're just trying to like figure out what are the words that I need to type into to like get to the information that I need to, you will inevitably stumble across like little emails you send to each other early on in your relationship, or like getting out of work early, hanging out. What do you want to do? What do you want to eat? Whatever. So like the first date that we went on Long Island, there's this. It's like such a goofy place, but there's a coffee shop that's in the theme of like a witchcraft. It's not like, scary. It's just like the theme, whatever. So it's called Witch's Brew.
Yes.
So on the poster, I put "You cast a spell on me." So that was kind of fun. So that was like our first date.
Oh yeah.
So it's fun. So that was a great.
That's so cute. I can't.
So what's funny is because after Jacob, maybe that was like the second time I made the poster, and then we had Ethan, and then I was like, oh, we gotta make the poster again, and I'm like, we have another one, Noah. All right, we're done. No more dates. But it's cool. It's something to consider because it's very inexpensive, but it's a lot of fun to actually make. And then for me, we joke about it because it's hanging up, in our dining room. I laugh because it's like I could always take a peek at that if I ever feel like I'm going to forget a date for something. I'm not going to, but it's it's there.
Yes.
Another thing that was kind of fun. These are a couple quick ideas which I thought people were listening. This was a little bit more complicated, but it wasn't hard. What I ended up doing, and this is a little bit bizarre. When you hear it, you'll see kind of it's not so hard. What it is you could go to like Michael's, one of those places, and they sell like these punch things. You could punch paper out in different shapes. So I bought like a heart one. Yeah. I was like, enough with the hearts. So I'm gonna get the heart thing. And what I did was I went to AAA, because if you're a AAA member, you have free maps. So it's easy, right? It's part of the membership. So I got a bunch of maps from New York State and the different states that we've been to. And then what you do with it is you punch out cities that have meaning. So I punched out like, where our children were born, and like where we went to like visit my sister, and like, where we went on a date and going to Canada.
Awesome,
so we punched these places out, and then it's just like, instead of having like words, it's just like these hearts that are made of maps. And then when you look at them, you could see like the names of the cities. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Those were good ones.
Yeah. Jean actually gifted me, maybe not for Valentine's Day, but and maybe from Etsy he got it from, but it was like where we first met.
Oh,
and
nice.
It was at the school that we met each other at, and he had like a little heart and like where it all began. And like I think there's something special about that, like tracking where you met or how long it's been or something like that. I think, as much as like, yeah, it's a Hallmark holiday, because definitely Jean and I were like, it's Hallmark, like let's not go crazy over it. But I think it's a time to just kind of say like, hey, I love you to the other person,
I like that, because it kind of almost like it makes the expectations much less intense by like laughing at and calling it a Hallmark holiday, and you're like, okay, cool, it is, but let's make it for ourselves. Let's make it us,
It is.
When I have gone over, besides Sarah, obviously,
all the listeners have been to my house. Okay.
No, but what you notice about Mike's family is the love they have for each other. And I think Mike and Rachel have done a great job in instilling that in their own family and inspiring
thanks,
others
buddy.
when they come over to see their home, man.
Aw.
So, to speak to that, because I was inspired by Mike, and one of the things I have done for Valentine's Day, because like I said, Valentine's Day when I was younger wasn't really celebrated. I wanted to create videos for Taylor. And, I struggled with, like, should this be a Mother's Day video or should it be like a Valentine's Day video? It's so hard because, she's always around. They're always tired. And, like, getting the kids at this young age to say or do anything is always difficult. But I got to wait till, like, the right moment when Taylor falls asleep and I can wake up the kids and kind of record them to do something. But
They're like in bed, like talking, like the lights shining in their face, like just say the line.
Yeah.
Say I love you, Mom.
But what I was planning on doing is kind of just keeping all these Valentine's Day videos, and like when Lucas or Ellie are 18, kind of like put them all together and just show on Valentine's Day throughout the years.
Seriously.
I can't. Yeah, I'm
know,
tearing
man,
up
like,
already in the future.
If like sentiment is like a bullseye, you're just like, I'm telling you,
I love
like,
it.
You're just
I'm there.
shooting 100% bullseyes. You're out of control. I love it.
I did just start last year. So like I missed 10 years on Lucas and 7 years on
you did not
Ellie,
miss
but,
anything.
I think Hayden's 3, so but when one of them's 18,
Here's the thing:
I
don't get
figured I'd kinda
lazy
splice
when
them
you
all
get to
together.
Hayden, because that could be a disaster.
Yes, right.
I know, and then there's that too,
and-
right?
And listen, like we're all on this journey of parenthood and stuff like that. Like, so what? You didn't think of it 5 years ago,
That's
8 years
right.
ago, whatever it was. It's the thought that counts.
Yeah.
So
I thought it'd be
like,
kinda cool, you
It is
know?
what it is.
So- I
like
No,
that,
I
dude.
think it's great. Like, listen, we're juggling so much in life, and it's like. Again, like kind of like back to like that like social media stuff. Like you were trying to like live his expectation of like constantly a clean house, romance, and things like that. Like it's not realistic.
Definitely not.
You know,
We're all like, I'm so tired.
So Mike Levine, I think you're doing good, Michael Hyatt. You're setting the standard. Like,
Yeah, man.
You know,
High five.
I love it.
I love
all
it.
your stories.
Yeah, high
You're
five,
like
everyone.
inspired too.
Air high five.
Because like something that I wanted to bring up too, because you were talking about expectations, was like how to have a good evening while still maintaining some degree of romantic stuff with your partner, but also having your kids staring at you and all that good stuff. And one thing that I think we've also accepted the fact that like some of these holidays are never going to be romantic for a long time. And it's okay. Like embrace the children, make them part of it. And that's okay. But something that we do like within the context of that is one of the restaurants that my wife and I went to very early on in our dating was this little coffee house in our hometown called The Cup. And what they had there was this, and I don't know like how or what, we ended up getting the sandwich and we loved it. So, and I think it was for Valentine's Day. It was one of our first dates, whatever it was. And it was a, just a like eggplant Parmesan. So the fried eggplant, basically fried eggplant on pita bread with pesto sauce, Munster cheese, red onion. That's the sandwich. And then I served it like with a little salad with like raspberry vinaigrette dressing and then chips and salsa. Kind of simple, nothing too complicated. I know making like eggplant isn't always the easiest thing, but whatever. So like we had this, and then like for a number of years, and I do it. I do a lot of the times for Valentine's Day. I'll make this for my wife, and that'll be like our little dish is like a little, like a little mini date celebrating one of the first places we went on a date together. So that's something kind of fun, like cooking together or making like a recipe from that imitates like a meal you had when you guys first started dating or something you both enjoyed. So we have a little fun with that. Not saying all of my children will enjoy, eggplant. However, that's what the air fryer is for. But yeah, no, we do that sometimes.
We do something similar to that. Like, so back in years past, we done like make little pizza and like little baby like heart-shaped pizzas. And then Gene and I used to be like very fancy and do lobster. So like we would make the pizza, eat the like little baby pizzas, and then the day before, like the day of or day before, we go to like there's a well-known place in the area called Jordan's Farm.
I was just thinking that. It's funny. Yeah.
And we would go there. Yeah. And we get like the 3 lobsters or whatever, put in the fridge, and then we heat it up and we eat that. And I think it was just always nice to like include the kids. So for me, in my tradition, because like my mom, my dad, again, it was just very basic. It wasn't like anything crazy. It was just chocolate and flowers and kind of like that was it. It just felt very romantic. For my kids, I just want them to like, I do like balloons, like they set up a table, like our dining room table. Like I do a little balloons, maybe like a little like Valentine's Day centerpiece, like nothing crazy. Again, $1.25 tree, and making like I make like a nice dinner, or they make a dinner. We eat together. They ready in the morning. They got the little flowers and they got the little Valentines. And I just like it. I think it's just a day to make them feel special. Again, kind of going back to like Sophia, like I want like her to know like I don't want her to be impressed because the little boy gave her a box of chocolates. Like, you know, I want her to like know like if a boy gave you candy or chocolates, he thought of you, because you can get a box of chocolates anytime. You know, like from mom and dad.
Like to be like taken care of. Like in a nice way.
Exactly. And for Julian, like I want him to know like this is what you should do for your wife, someone you love, someone you care for, you know, whoever you choose to love. And I just like I just like doing it, and nothing major, nothing special. Just like my wreath is usually that's it, and then Valentine's Day I go $1.25 tree, get the balloons. I get like it's like really like I don't know. It's just like a quick holiday.
No, yeah.
It's fun. It's festive. We have a good time.
Right. I think it's important for us as parents to kind of model Valentine's Day, or you know, love is to our children. You know, we want my children to be loved the way I love their mother, you know, and I want, you know, you doing the little things, going the extra mile, helping each other out, working as a team, you know, and because through that love, they can, you know, the cliche love can conquer all, right? You know,
except the dishes.
Exactly.
No, but the thing is that when you watch, when you watch like, it's funny because like growing up, there were so many movies like that, like I think set like a really weird expectation of what like love would be for us as like adults. Like when you grew up with like 80s and 90s movies, there were always these grandiose gestures, and they're all like kind of creepy sometimes in some ways. So it's like it's kind of nice to like just show your kids like this is how you care for someone. This is a nice gesture. Right. It doesn't have to be this, but it could be that, you know. And I think like without, you know, any sort of like over the top stuff, you could just like, kind of like model it for them. Because my wife is always like hitting me and like saying like you have to show the boys how you have to model it for them.
Yes.
You have to do nice things. And I know like she's absolutely right. Like I totally agree with her. And like there's times where like, you know, they're not going to learn from things you say. They're going to learn by watching things you do. And I think like that's a big thing. And you know, from our childhood or whatever we experience, good, bad, or indifferent, I think we are the people that we are, and we could definitely impact our kids in some way in that, you know. And it's not always when you're a little tired and you come home from work and you're like, all right, you're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. And then like I know that like what makes it so nice for us is like when you, like Sarah mentioned, like what she does for her guys, her daughter, her son. When we see their little faces, like first thing in the morning, my wife started this little tradition where it doesn't have to be like expensive or anything, but like a little stuffed animal or a little Beanie Boo or something that like, I know I think of you, Mike, with like each kid, like the fox and the hawk and the, you know, with like the getting a little animal they like, and then setting it up with like a little card. And then, you know, the weekends are always more special because they wake up and like they don't have to go to school. But, you know, even if it's a weekday, you know, having this table set up and having little stuffed animals ready, I think it makes it, they get such a big smile. And it's also one of those things where like you would be surprised with how old your kid could be. And they're never too old for like a little sweet little sentiment, whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I think like my niece, even though she's, oh my God, 25 at this point, like I know I will be getting her little Kit Kats. She likes
Yeah.
Kit Kats. The heart for her. Maybe a little Sephora gift card. Like, a humble $25, something like that. Like, but it's just the idea of like, again, it goes back to like someone's enriching your life. You don't need someone in your life, and like you should be treated like this.
Yeah.
You know, and I think for like Julian's a very funny dude. Let me tell you, since second grade, he's been proposed to.
Ooh, yeah, go Julian.
Like yes, Julian's been asked if he can be married to someone. And he was very nervous about it. He thought it was very serious.
Am I moving out, Mom? Does this mean I'm moving out?
Yeah, no. It was like first grade. He was like, I don't know about this. So for Valentine's Day, Julian on February 13th decided to tell this little girl he just because she was like, we're gonna be Valentines, like that's it. And he said, "Mommy, I don't want to be her Valentine's." And I was like, "Okay." So February 13th, he tells her, so and so, I don't want to be a Valentine's for February 14th. And he said she cried. And I was like, "Oh my God, no, it's horrible." I'm like, "Julian, that's mean." But at the same time, like, yes, like don't be pressured into something you don't want to do. Like don't get married in first grade, and don't have a Valentine's in first grade if you're not ready for it.
A week
like
later, people
the
have been married
commitment.
for 3 days. And I'm like, oh man.
I know, like the commitment is very strong, and it, like he felt the pressure, and I didn't want him to feel that pressure. Sophia, for her, went back in the day, most recently back in the day, I should say, she was like, "Mom, I need to get like 2 like Sour Patch Kids." I'm like, "For who?" She's like, "Oh, for this guy." I'm like, "Oh, okay." But and then she would give like candy like to her girlfriends and things like that, which I thought was very, very sweet. I don't know what she's getting this Valentine's Day. This should be
We're gonna be on the lookout.
I'll check in. I'll check in on that. But I know we talked a lot about like what we do for like our family and things like that. Like, but how do you handle? And we mentioned Julian breaking hearts on February 13th. What do we do for actual Valentine's Day for the whole group of people? Like, does the teacher make you like do like mailboxes? Everyone has to get Valentine's. Like, what do you and Rachel do?
It's interesting because like it seems like maybe over the past couple of years, it seems like the food thing has kind of separated from a lot of schools. So like now, we're not really sending like snacky stuff anymore, but we want to make sure that like, other kids are not like feeling left out and stuff. So we always try to find like a little something for like the class, because that's kind of the big thing now. It's like you bring the Valentine's cards, but then you also could like, if you have like a really nice class mom or people that want to be involved, sometimes you could buy like enough quantity of like a little thing or a little activity or something that they could give out to all the kids. So we found like it wasn't even that expensive. It was an Amazon. Apparently the dollar store and Amazon are not sponsoring this episode. So they found this thing that was like a sticker activity. I say activity loosely. It was individualized sticker sheets of Mario characters. It sounds creepy because they have no faces, but what it is they come with like the sticker face making things. So like you put like the eyes, different mouths, and like you kind of make it look the way you want. So they had like Mario, Toad, Princess, Luigi, Bowser, Wario, a couple of the characters, and we bought those. So we sent those in, and one for each kid, and then just kind of mixing them up because there was not 17 of just Mario. So we just kind of mixed up, and hopefully they'll, all the kids will be happy with whatever they got of the trade. And then we kept some, of course, for a little guy because Noah saw those and he was like foaming at the mouth. So, and a side note, those are really good because you could take the extras and then when you go out to a restaurant, when the kids are going to like wait for their food, sometimes it's nice to have a little something activity you can pull out of your bag because like when to keep them busy in the restaurant. So always keep the extras. Yeah. But yeah, we do that. Fill the cards. I always make the kids fill out the cards or at least sign their name. Because I think it's important, right?
Yep.
Because they should have some sort of ownership over, not like yelling at you from the other room, like, "Did you fill out the cards yet?" So they should be part of it, And I love that. I think that's kind of nice.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. That's what I do with Julian. I make sure both where I tried to have Julian write the whole card out like to whoever from his name. I guess like there's like sometimes I feel like there's a pressure to like do something like ostentatious, you know,
like at the top, like the next person.
Not
or
only, yeah, like there are times that I look like Instagram or TikTok. I'm like, oh my god, this mom's doing like a dinosaur and a princess and a blah blah blah, and like I know, like right. I try not to give into that. At times, I do feel compelled, but Valentine's Day, I just feel like it's supposed to be fun. It's really the candy. That's what I feel like. And just being nice to someone. That's like the biggest idea for me. But there is a times where I'm like I you know, like to do like this big elaborate
Don't
thing.
you feel like you've gotten like especially with like my 4-year-old, I see this a little bit more because like when you're more removed from it after your other kids are older, or like maybe it's not your first kid, like and listen, hey, other parents, when you get like your kids in daycare or whatever else, and then you get like things in your bag sometimes that are from other parents that they're like, they just bought them for like a holiday for the whole class, which is very nice. But like sometimes you're allowed to say, are you kidding me? Like you're allowed to have those words and be like, no, this is a little bit, maybe a little bit too much, you know? And like, you know, you don't have to do all those things, but like there's times where like, you know, your kids feel invested. They want to do something that's nice, but do not feel the pressure. I like what Sara D said. It's not necessary. Do what you feel is comfortable. Do what you think is right. Do what you think is like, is going to make another kid smile. Not overdoing it, because that's unnecessary. Right.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot of pressure. I hear what Sarah is saying, you know, and what we're all saying, and I think it's okay if you don't bring anything as well.
I also feel like you know, like dealing with a kid who's getting like slightly disappointed. Okay, so here's two things. There's times like where I feel like the teacher could help assimilate that, like, you know, like maybe like if they know there's a child who might be, you know, their home life might be struggling, and they say, here, like here's a little like bags you can give to friends of like little like persecutions. That's it. Yeah. That's it. Just like here you go, give it to them. And also too, like maybe we can like whittle down some of that like ostentatiousness, like where it's not like this big huge thing, because there's a pressure that's for everyone,
especially with some families can't afford it. It's really unreasonable.
Just cards, making cards saying, hey, I like you, you're my friend, you're a good friend, you make me laugh, you know, all that kind of stuff is positive. Like I think there's times like even with Julian, he broke someone's heart and said, hey, I don't want to be your like I just want to be I don't want to be your Valentine's, I just want to be your friend, and like it's kind of hard like having them deal with those feelings and stuff like that. But you know, like I think there's something to be said, like make sure like everyone's included. We try to make sure everyone has like a voice and they feel included and stuff like that. Like, and I think again, I'm sorry, teachers, it's a lot to put on you, but like maybe if you had like a little something, like a backup plan for those who may not be able. Yeah, like just in case, like, hey, I saw someone gave you, like, especially you know, like who's best friends with who, like so and so, like, hey, I saw someone gave you a present. Here's a little something you give them.
No, I think it's good, because like the thing is that something to think about too is like, even if you don't want to have a lot of money to spend or whatever else, we always think of this great Pete the Cat book. It sounds like I'm like about to name some like, you know, a psychology professor from like a university, but this Pete the Cat book is about Valentine's Day, and we always read it every year. This is the kind of a thing we do too. We try to like either take out books from the library or pick like a book for the kids, or that has to do with Valentine's Day, and that book in particular, I think it teaches some really good values. One of the things that the whole book is about, essentially, is that Pete gets really bummed out because he's trying to figure out how to make a Valentine's Day card for everyone in the class. And he knows that he's stretching far beyond his means to do that. And his mom is like, just tell the kids what you think is great about them. And it's just this idea that you could write something very simple, draw a little picture, and then make it an effort to give to everyone. Because truthfully, sometimes the handmade stuff and the easy stuff is the nicest things of all. And making something nice for everyone. And you parents, I know you're there. You go through that class list, you check it 15 times, and you make sure that if it says 17 kids, you make sure that 17 kids also includes your child, because don't make it, maybe it's 18, you left one out. Make sure you have one for everybody. And if you want one for the teacher, I'm sure that's fine too. But that it really can make everyone's day. Something very simple and little, you know. But handmade is sometimes a way to go, because even when it's cheap, it's still really good. Pete the cat.
Yeah, man, that's perfect.
It's a weird way to end a sentence.
Yeah.
Pete the cat.
Pete the cat. Wow, look at that. I didn't even know. Yeah.
I mean, like, so if you're running out of ideas, we saw something from Urban Sitter. So if you're celebrating with your family, with a group of kids, hey, make some memorable meals. You know, you do like a nice like decoration together, wear festive clothes. You could do like a little pampering day and stuff like that. Do good. I think that's the biggest thing. Like on Valentine's Day, like do something nice for someone who does, like who needs you. So like a neighbor, someone in need, like donate something, and snuggle for a movie night. Like again, grab your jammies, grab your popcorn, and like hang out and chill on the couch.
Something I would say that for movie night, after experiencing World War IV in my house, what you may consider doing is coming up with like a jar. And have the kids write down, like, they could each write down, like, 2 of their ideas of what they want to see. And then this way you could kind of get it on a rotation of, like, picking out a movie out of the jar. Yeah. Because, man, oh, man, sometimes it gets a little feisty for a movie night.
That's a good
or
idea.
pick something short, you know? Or do something like a couple episodes or something. But something that I like, too, in this article is whipping up a special dessert to enjoy after dinner. One of the chefs that we really like is Duff Goldman. You know, Ace of Cakes guy, whatever. He's all over TV. He's like the Buddy versus Duff guy. But he makes these great cookbooks. And if you go to the library, he makes baking books for kids, which I think is great. And it really simplifies some recipes. And you know this guy makes great food. So one of the recipes that Jacob found one year, I think it was like close to Valentine's Day because it was like near the Super Bowl. And he found this was, sports reference. He made, it was called a cookie salad, which is really goofy. It was great. It was like almost like a pudding moussey. It was like a moussey kind of, like not chocolate, but it was like if you basically took like, you know, Cool Whip and like mixed it together with pudding mix, like it's kind of like, you know, more of like a mousse. And then you put like all the like cookies and things into the dessert and like some fruits and stuff. And it almost resembles like a little salad. And you like scoop it into a bowl and it's like good. You could even like dip the cookie and like eat it like nachos. But it's not complicated. If you look up cookie salad, Duff Goldman, it was great. I'll probably put the link in the show notes. There's a lot of pressure, I think, for families, especially like, look, I love cooking. I get it. Not everyone does. My kids don't even like the food I cook sometimes. So cool. But maybe like the pressure of cooking the meal, like I mentioned before about making something for my wife is not, you know, for the kids. Maybe don't worry about the meal. Maybe just have like whatever. Maybe just, you know, make something easy and then have like a dessert, like this article says, that would be something more to focus on. And that takes away some of that pressure of trying to make something that's super duper special for like, you know, the main meal. Because, you know, you always have that nice dessert to look forward to if you make it, right?
And I think the ultimate goal here, you know, with Valentine's Day is, and listen, I'm no expert, but it's just show the love to your family. That's it. Show the love to your family.
You know, you don't have to be like crazy. Just something that's a little special for your family.
That's it. Public library is a beautiful place to get free stuff. Lots of resources online. Make it special for your family because you love them and they get it if you just try a little bit.
Exactly.
So after we had a chance to talk about all of our traditions, the question this week is, what traditions do you have with your family? Maybe those are some traditions you kept from when you were dating or from your childhood. Maybe they changed when you had kids. We'd love to hear what they are for you for this Valentine's Day or for others. And we'd love to hear from you. And if you have a question or a comment for us, a topic or idea, a parenting story or a fail that you experienced on Valentine's Day or another day, you could contact us. 1, you can leave a message on our Hey the Parents voicemail line at 559-537-5437 or 559-LAY-KIDS. 2, you could email the show at heyotherparents@gmail.com. Or 3, you could join us on Instagram at heyotherparents. We'll try to keep you up to date with show info, polls, more, and we'll even show you some questionable parenting moments through the power of artificial intelligence. Now that we've taken some time to discuss how we show some love to our families, it's time to remind ourselves to show a little love towards ourselves because it's time for Parenting Unplugged. Don't forget, you'll be a better we if you take care of me.
And it's time for Parenting Unplugged. The mics. What do you got for us today?
Well, let me tell you, what I've noticed recently is that my daughter loves basketball, and we don't have a basketball net. So I bought this basketball net off of Amazon, and it was like maybe $90, you know. And I set it 8 feet high just for her league or whatever, so that she could practice. But what I find myself doing is shooting hoops. And I've never shot hoops before. I'm not a hoop shooter. I am not a basketball guy. But you know what? I like going out there and kind of shooting a hoop now and then and kind of relieving some stress and playing some ball. And so it's kind of cool.
Nice. You playing by yourself? Yeah. You just shout up to your brother-in-law. You're like, you want to play a little quick game now?
Yeah. I do it now. Yeah. I'm not game worthy. I just, like to shoot it in the net right now,
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm working at it. I'm kind of doing my thing, so I turned my present to my daughter into a present for myself. So, I know that happens sometimes as parents. So
that's when you make it forfeit.
You see me try to dunk.
Soup, swish, whatever it's called.
So what about you, Mike? What'd you do this week, man?
Oh man, so check it out. I went to speaking of sports, let me tell you about one you play from the chair. So we went to our friend's house after religion. It was so nice. Our older two go to religion with Miranda and Matthew. So Jacob and Ethan have 2 kids their age, and a couple of the kids from Hebrew school. They came over and we hung out with this family, 2 families. We had a lot of fun, ordered pizza, and they busted out this game. They were the best hosts. They were so nice. They busted this game and like, have you guys ever played Crokinole? We're like, what'd you say? And they busted out this game, and it was this big round, like heavy, almost like you'd picture like a very small tabletop. And they put it down, take it out of this big case, put it down, and it's this round wooden game that has like little pucks, like almost like you're playing like miniature shuffleboard. And it's got this like wax on it that kind of you rub the pieces on, you shoot them. And basically the gist is that you and the people you're playing with, you have to take turns like shooting your little pucky thing into the middle that's safeguarded by all of these like almost like little like pointed out spokes that are like sticking out so that they could like knock your piece from getting into the middle. But the part that gets it really interesting is that once you shoot, the next person that goes, they can't just like try to get their little pucky thing into the point, into the middle to earn points. They have to like make contact with the opposing team's little puck. So it's like, it makes for like a really fun time because like, number one, like it's a major hand-eye coordination that I must have been lied to with my Nintendo back in the day, but it was a little harder than we expected. So my wife and I were playing together.
So you can play
it was
sports.
ridiculous. I would try to like shoot it in, and like I was laughing because at one point I think I kept getting points to the other team because they're giving their puck into the hole instead of mine. But it was a lot of fun. It's a really cool game, and if you're into like any sort of like tabletop-y or shuffleboard kind of philosophy on things, I don't know, of that like, the point system of like knocking the players and then like figuring out all the points. It was fun. It was definitely like low stress, lots of fun. Everyone was laughing at it, how terrible their shots were, but it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun with it. It's called Crokinole, and I'm sure the tables range in price from like, $100 to like, the price of a basketball hoop, but who knows? But it was really great. So it was a lot of fun. And my wife and I might be looking into a possible Crokinole set for us if we could figure out where the heck we would store it. Like it was a lot of fun. How about you, Sarah?
So what I got this year was a DeerRun 301 under the desk table, footable, walking pad, 300 pounds from Amazon. Hey, Amazon.
Really? Wait, so what does this thing do?
Okay, so Jean and I have been like on this like, like we're 40 years old, we're getting like our little tune-ups and things like that. And
pulling
we're like,
the NASCAR, getting the old,
little zoom.
Exactly.
So part of that is how we're gonna like keep ourselves like at a healthy weight. So we got this little treadmill, like walking pad. And I have to say, it's kind of fun. It's not really big for those who are like, oh my God, I don't want to like a monstrosity. Cause like we went to like some like physical fitness store, and they show us like a treadmill, like Lifetime, not a NordTrack, but like different types of like
they're bulky,
treadmill.
Right? They're big.
They're giant. You don't appreciate how big they are until you actually see it. So we're like, where are we putting this thing? Like, if we actually invest in this. So we're like, no, okay. And so we look at the walking track, like tracks or whatever. Our friend has one. And we're like, you know what? That's manageable. Like, I just need to like walk. Like, it's cold, it's rainy, and whatever.
Yeah.
Get my 10,000 steps in, things like that. So we got this. We Googled search, we Amazoned it, and I think for us right now, the best one is that DeerRun brand that we bought. Julian's been using it. G and I have been using it. It's been fun. It's like a new toy to use. It doesn't take up a lot of space. You can fold it away, put it away, things like that. And it does what it needs to do. It goes from like a walking pace from like 1.0 to like 7.0. And it's between like 300 pounds. It's good. Like, just
and it was inexpensive, or was it like super expensive?
No, like around like a $200 price range or whatever.
That's good because people don't want to spend like tons and tons of money on,
No, because the ones G and I were looking at, they were like thousands of dollars, and we're like, do we have the space? Do we have the time? Are we really going to use it? So like,
right? Is it going to hang your clothes on instead of
Exactly. This is a good starter. Let's see what happens. If we don't like love it, it'll go in the garage like everything else. And if not, then we'll continue using it. And I think it's so far it's been good, I have to say.
I like that. That's pretty cool.
Very nice.
And since the weather's so gross out, it's nice to have something to just probably feel better by moving a little bit, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's been nice. I tried putting the dogs on it. They weren't digging it just yet. So it is what it is. We are out of time. So we're going to wrap this episode up on Valentine's Day. If it doesn't matter to you, if you stay in or go out, wear Snuggies or bust out a pint of Ben and Jerry's, because this episode is all for you. We'd like to take a moment to thank our listeners and supporters for donating to our show. If you want to support the show, we have a link to donate the show notes. If you do not have the means to do so, we would love it if you told your friends about our podcast so you can reach out to more parents and those who are like you through Apple Podcasts or Spotify. We can't wait to explore the parenting thing again next week on Hey Other Parents, because it's the three of us and all of you. Don't forget to hug your kids, charge your Chromebook, and that's going to do it for me, for Mike, and the other Mike. So we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, the Parents are produced by Mike Levine, Sara Desreens, and me, Michael Haidt. I edited and mixed our show. Our intro voice recording was done by the one and only Coltrane. If you like our show, we hope you'll consider going to our show notes and supporting our podcast. Find us online on Instagram at Hey the Parents, or send us an email at heytheparents@gmail.com. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next time.